provide an update on our plan for clearing the streets this winter. And Colonel Ben Johnson, the Chief Operating Officer, will provide more details. And after that, we'll take questions. Interim Street Director Ken Flake is here as well. We'll get started. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. Well, I've got two sets of talking points here. This will just do me just fine. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking some time here to talk about our winter plan. I think, as we all know, after last winter, it was clear that we needed to have a better plan in place, and one that was clear, direct, and transparent, communicative with the public. So we all know, while it's actually fairly nice out here this morning, it's going to be winter very soon here. So our winter planning effort really, while we're here to talk about it today, really didn't begin today. It's been in the works for several months now. Colonel Ben Johnson, who has taken over as Director of Operations for the City of St. Louis, will go over our plan in detail. He's led the effort on this in collaboration, coordination, and with the leadership of our Streets Department here. And I'll let him go into detail, but broadly speaking, our winter planning effort includes these 4 beautiful new trucks behind me that have both plows and salt distribution associated with them. Is this okay, Jason? So we've got these 4 new beautiful trucks behind us that are going to be able to kind of get us down some of the smaller side streets. We've got an overcall of our on-call system to activate snow removal crews, and we've also got a pay increase, an incentive program to get our drivers out and really activated. We've also increased our salt capacity, and so we're doing several things on several fronts to really make sure that we are really compensating those folks well who do the hard work of actually doing the snow and ice removal during some really, really difficult circumstances. We're really putting forward a plan, and we are committing to communicating with you all as we move forward, as the winter months are upon us, what we're actually going to be doing. Delivering high quality services is a priority for this administration, for me as mayor, and for our crews. I think it's been very clear that our street department has been an active partner in this under Interim Director Kent Flake, and all of our city staff are really activated and really committed to delivering safer, clearer streets for our community this winter.
I'm so sorry. This is just having some problems.
Oh, look at that. It works for a short part. It's going to fall again, isn't it? So again, Colonel Ben Johnson, our Chief Operating Officer, I'd like to turn it over to him. He's done an excellent job really leading this effort, and he can go into greater details about the plan.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Mayor Spencer, also for being directly involved in the planning effort. You know, my direction from Mayor Spencer coming in to this position has been to bring improved structure, improved tech, improved transparency as we work in enhancing our city services across the board. And that certainly includes effective snow operations this winter. So with planning, we are going into this winter season prepared. And I'll just say I relied on my military planning background. That's really the lens that I approach this work with, working closely with our Interim Director of Streets, Kent Flake, and his team and others to really harness the lessons from last January and bake those into our plan and our updates going forward for this season. So we're now communicating that plan with our hardworking crews and with the public, as we're doing here today, so that we are all prepared. So we're going to open this up to questions in just a few minutes, and Kent will be here as well to help answer questions. But before we do that, I do want to go over the broad overview, the broad contours of this plan. So as the mayor mentioned, we have these 4 new 1-ton trucks behind us. They give us additional capacity, adding to our approximately 60 vehicles that are part of our snow removal operations. We have also replaced 4 of those larger trucks with newer models to include new snow plows on those, as well as new salt packages. We are stocking up on the salt supply. A typical winter requires 6,000 to 7,000 tons of salt. We are doubling that capacity based on some lessons learned from the heavy storm last January. All of our CDL licensed drivers from across city departments are being considered for snow call duty. And we will have 2 rotating 12-hour crews of 40 personnel each. So we're building up that list right now to be effective and be on call starting mid-month of November, the 15th of November. As the mayor mentioned, we're working to double that on-call pay, which is just the incentive pay they will get for just being on that on-call list. We've also partnered more deliberately and specifically with the National Weather Service. We have a meteorologist here in St. Louis that's dedicated and will be a great addition, a great tool for us as a 24/7 additional meteorologist from the National Weather Service. And then 48 to 24 hours out, we will have our winter weather plan activation and communicate that with the public. We'll maintain that active communication with residents through our city social media with our news network partners here. And then there'll be a link on our main city webpage that we'll use as our centralized communication node to keep all of our updates current and posted throughout the snowfall. 12 hours prior to the snow event is when our pre-treatment happens. That remains a critical part of our snow plan, and that will go on all of our snow routes. Speaking of our snow routes, just as a reminder, this is not a change, but just to be clear about how we define these. We have 3 types of snow routes. We have our arterial routes, which are our main thoroughfares, essential for citywide traffic. We have secondary routes that are our major connecting roads. And then we have our hill routes. They're defined with a grade of 8 degrees. And then we work on those routes once the arterial and secondary routes are completed. Those are all snow routes. One key lesson that I'm guessing we'll hear about in the Q&A here is about side streets. Now, one of the key lessons learned from last January's was what we refer to as windrows, which is where the snow piles stack up at the intersection of some of those arterial and secondary routes. And so we have a specific strategy designed to actually go sweep through those and clear those out so that the cars can exit from the side streets onto our snow routes from your neighborhoods. Importantly, we'll have a contingency contract in place so that if we do exceed our impressive capacities that we have here as a city, that we can activate that for additional support to clear those snow routes and additional requirements. And then this year we're also going to pilot a salt bank on a limited scale, cooperating with our Board of Aldermen to work with some community groups to access some of that salt for specific areas, and that'll be located here. And then we also added to our snow route planning some of the additional roads around our schools, and that includes our public schools as well as our charter and private schools. So those are all some of the key updates in the broad contours of the plan, and we look forward to answering your questions. Thank you.
One of the issues last year with Street Director Attorney Williams in the letter that she addressed to the Board of Aldermen was lack of communication from the employees out on the streets to her about which streets were and were not plowed. Has anything changed communication-wise to prevent a lapse like that again this year?
Yes, but I'll let Kent specifically talk to that.
Yes, I believe it's very collaborative between the mayor's office, between street department, between the employees. There was a breakdown in that system last year. I know many of you that are here, I kind of love the press. I like to talk to everybody here as often as possible because you guys need to know what's going on. If you guys don't know, then the citizen doesn't know. You guys spread that word for us. And it's hard for me to reach out and tell 200,000 citizens that this is what we're doing. So the big deal is communicate. With that, with this administration, we're in constant communication every day, and I don't see that being an issue at all in the middle of a winter storm.
my message to residents this winter is that we have been planning for months. We've got a great plan. We are ready for winter, and we are ready to deliver safer, cleaner streets this year. And we are prepared to be communicative, more communicative. I mean, to the question earlier about, are we going to see that breakdown? I mean, I think it was clear to all residents, even visitors of the city last year, that we were experiencing major issues with the snow removal. If there's an unprecedented storm and we're unable to get to some of this stuff, our administration is committed to communicating about those things. We're committed to doing better, and we're committed to communicating when we're unable to meet the full needs. I mean, there could be potentially issues, where we have just an unprecedented amount of winter weather. But the key here is that we are prepared. We have a plan, we have a protocol, and we are communicating that with the public. We're working with our street department employees to better incentivize and reward the workers who we rely on, who do that hard work, who are coming out and clearing our streets. We have more of the tools in place, including these beautiful trucks behind me, more salt, and community partners like the Board of Aldermen and the community organizations that are willing to help us not only do that snow removal, but communicate to us where the need is within the community.
Are there more than just these 4 trucks, and will these 4 trucks be enough to meet the need?
These are those 4 new trucks. Colonel Johnson talked a little bit about the fleet.
Yeah, if you just look directly behind you, you get a sense of where some of those other 60 or so.
The small ones.
Okay.
Like the small, that was part of the problem, I guess, last year. These were too big to go on the smaller streets.
We do have
Is it just these
pickup
4?
size trucks, but can you comment on kind of various sizes?
Yep. So we have about 40, 50, well, about 60 operationally, about 45 of the big trucks. So we got these 4 behind me. Streets has another 2 more similar to these. And what we've done in the past is reach out to our forestry and parks partners that have about another dozen. By the time you add 12 plus 6 more, it's about 18 if they're all working. But that would make a substantial dent in doing side streets.
So I just want to clear, with regards to the side streets, we are not committing to being able to clear all the side streets in the city of St. Louis. That's not our commitment here today. But we are also not ruling out side streets. We are preparing to be able to do those. We are going to be relying on and working with the judgment of our street department on a case-by-case basis on how we're able to do that work. Again, as the Colonel pointed out, we're going to be focusing on our arterial and our secondary streets as well as our hill routes. Those are the most utilized and the most dangerous with those more than 8% incline, so that we are doing that clearance as a first priority. Once we get that through and we're looking at how the weather may continue, last year we did have several weeks of very, very cold weather pile on top of each other. So these will really be a case-by-case basis. And again, we're going to be relying on the judgment of our street director, our street employees, and we're going to be communicating to the public what it is we're doing as we're doing it. I'm personally committing to being out there in inclement weather, checking the streets, working with our community, the Board of Aldermen, the eyes and ears of the community, the media, who often knows when there's issues, to be addressing them as they come. This isn't prescriptive, it is a plan. We are confident that we have more equipment, better protocols, and more employees ready to do the work this winter. Yeah.
Just clarify,
Jason.
sorry. These 4, were these the 4 trucks that were ordered by the previous administration that were not available last winter because they said they were on back order?
These are the 4 trucks that were ordered last year that were part of that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so on the question of side streets, the biggest issue with doing side streets are there are a lot of neighborhoods in St. Louis where people don't have driveways and don't have
It's okay, thanks. I'm okay, thanks. Yeah.
don't have garages, so they park on both sides of the street.
Yes.
So even these types of trucks would not be able to get through without knocking off like rear view mirrors and stuff like that. Is that what you mean by a case-by-case basis, that you're not going to do side streets where people people cannot take their cars anywhere else.
Right, Jason. I mean, there's a lot of case-by-case basis here. It's not just the case-by-case of the street, as you pointed out, but it is a case-by-case on the storm and the, what we're experiencing. So there are going to be instances where, as St. Louis weather turns out, you're going to have a lot of winter you could have precipitation, and then it warms up, and before we even have that need. So that is the case. Sometimes it is case by case, but again, I think the key here really is better prep, better incentives for our employees, a protocol, and a commitment to communicating very clearly as we move through the winter months.
Question on pre-treating. In the past, sometimes it hasn't been done because of like wet snow, very rain, almost rain sometimes. Are you going to do it regardless, or is it kind of be case by case again? If it's rainy first, it's just there's no point.
So we have specific criteria for that, and it's based on the potential for freezing. So, and Kent, you're welcome to weigh in on this. But the way we have identified it is we will pre-treat with that salt solution at that 12-hour mark, unless there is rain of a half inch, I think it is, unless we have that rain forecast and the temperature below 20 degrees. And that's where we have seen like actually doing more harm by the pre-treatment, because you'll end up causing more icing on those streets. It's a great point, and where there are a few conditions when we wouldn't do that.
Tell us more about the new equipment here. 4 new trucks, would that be enough? And how much is each truck?
All right, so yep, we got 4 new trucks. They have a capacity of about 2 tons of salt, between 2 and 2.5 tons of salt per truck. See, they all have lovely, pretty red plows right now. They were around $85,000, $90,000 a piece, and they hit most of your points.
What's special about them? What will they be able to do that we didn't have last year?
Yeah, so the biggest deal is that they're small. These have 8-foot wide plows on them. Everything else we have is about a 10 or 12-foot plow, mostly 12-foot plows. So it can go down a lot of streets that our big tandem dumps cannot fit down, or our single axle dumps cannot fit down. By narrowing that plow by 4 foot wide, which is actually even a little bit more by the time you put it at an angle.
So there was a point last year where some of the drivers were actually refusing to leave because the snow was so deep and they didn't feel comfortable. Is that something that is not going to be tolerated anymore?
Do you recall the
You mean
circumstances?
not willing to leave their homes?
Not
Is that
leave
the
shed
building?
here.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
Yeah, without knowing the specifics of that particular circumstance, it's hard to comment on. But generally speaking, our approach is to be clear in our communications, but also clear in our expectations. But I have full faith and confidence that in partnership with a really hardworking workforce, we're going to be ready.
Mayor, I guess this is one thing. If we get a storm like we did last January, will it be better?
It will be better, yes.
How do you know?
Because we have a plan, we have better equipment, we have better protocols, and we have a team that's committed to getting out and being a part of the solution. I think one of the breakdowns last year was just a failure to really recognize, what we had last year was was a fairly unusual weather event. That we all can recognize that last year was not normal weather for St. Louis. It was unusual, but when collaborating with our employees, recognizing how hard that work is, working with our community to say, hey, this is unusual, and we are working through these unprecedented circumstances, recognizing when we are unable to meet those needs is part of the solution here. We have clear protocols in the plan, Austin, and I do feel confident that we're going to be better positioned to work better with our employees to get the job done in a better way this year. Yes, I do. I have confidence.
I'd say another key difference that will be, I think, effective is recognizing when we need additional support and activating that early. And I think that is, if we are in a situation that is highly unusual and we are outside of our capacity, that's why we're going to make sure that that is ready to go and we actually activate that so that I can come right in and not have a delay in activation.
You mentioned the salt tank. Can you kind of explain, like, functionally how that would work and what it could be used for?
Yeah, I'll start that, and then Kent, if you could kind of follow up. So the idea here is that we know there are some great community organizations in particular that have expressed a desire to partner with the city in providing some additional salting in some of the neighborhoods for public safety. And we want to be able to partner as the city and specifically the streets department with that. And so this is a pilot program, not on a large scale, but we're working through the mechanics of it currently, but essentially in coordination for a citizen or an organization that wants to be a part of that to coordinate with their alderperson and then get in direct contact with Kent Flake, and it'll be run out of here to access that salt on really a organization or neighborhood by neighborhood case. Anything you want to add to that?
I think Ben hit most of the points on that, like 100%. The one thing I would add is right now we're kind of looking to work with like block captain units so we can kind of keep some grasp on reality here. We can't tell everybody just to come here and get salt. That would be bad, and we probably wouldn't have any. But it's that conversation and trying to figure out an organization that can organize this outside of us. And I think the Federation of Block Captains, Federation of Block Captain Unit, whatever it's called, I think is really going to be key in that, and just getting organizations like that in order to actually organize this for us.
I'll kind of highlight this. This was actually kind of brought up by community organizations and residents last year. So, we're hearing that residents wanted to be part of the solutions, and we're piloting a way in which they can be part of the solution. Recognize we have a lot of salt. You pointed out, Jason, some of the difficulties in getting down some of the streets, but residents are out there, and we want to activate the community where we can.
We sent out a press release while this was happening, so you should have more details on the plan and the procedures in your inbox. So if you have any final questions, we could do those, but we can wrap up.
Mayor, just a different money, because obviously we have new trucks, we have incentives for drivers, we have incentives for driver contractors to help. Is there like a financial number of like how much more money the city is putting in?
Well, all this depends on the kind of weather we get, and how many days we're activating it. So we don't have a firm number on that, but we are committed. We had a budgetary surplus last year. A lot of that was driven by vacancies in city departments. So we have a little wiggle room here. We do want to incentivize the workers that are out there, doing this hard work, and we're committed to doing a better job than we were able to deliver last year. And there's going to be, we're recognizing there's a price tag on it, and we're going to see what this winter brings so that we can, but we're committed to doing a better job. Yeah, there was one more question, Sean.
Mayor, the president yesterday tweeted out that he's sending $2.5 million to Missouri, just begging for severe weather over the last year. Is St. Louis seeing any of that?
I don't want to speak to that. The city of St. Louis, our residents, that was in reference to individual assistance as it relates to disasters in Missouri. Our residents have received over $51 million in direct individual assistance from FEMA. And we're grateful for that, those funds to our families in need following the tornado. And we look forward to even more funds as that rental assistance and other assistance that FEMA is providing our residents continues through the winter months. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.